cartoon certainly expresses how easy it is to have misunderstandings. I can't tell you how many times Lois and I have been driving together, and it doesn't matter whether I'm driving or she's driving, but we may say something like turn left right here. And we certainly know how easy it is to get confused when you start using left and right and those kind of phrases all together. And so here in Event 40 and 41, I'm going to deal with misunderstandings as well as the actual Bible text. But we're in Matthew, and we're looking at Mark as well. And both of these situations, we have a term called raka, R-A-C-A, and that means to show contempt or to talk about worthlessness or something very, very disrespectful. And we're also dealing with the word fool, as Jesus has dealt with it, blameless, brainless, idiot, stupid, all of these things. We certainly use those terms differently today than perhaps during the Jesus day. I think it's important for us to remember that Jesus never felt anybody was worthless, and that he wasn't talking in contempt, with perhaps a few exceptions with the scribes and the Pharisees, but Jesus certainly taught mutual respect. And I fear that I offended someone not too long ago in an attempt to try to help. I think they may have taken it as trying to tell them what to do and how to do it. That was not at all my intent, and so it was something that was taken, I think may have been taken as my attempt to treat them as if they were worthless, or that I knew more than they did, or whatever. That was certainly not my intent. As a matter of fact, I thought it was quite interesting that some of my recent teachings were consistent with what they were teaching, and I thought it was quite ironic that we were both on the same page, and yet I fear that perhaps there was some offense taken. Nevertheless, we need to understand that there's a difference between saying somebody did something foolishly, or saying that somebody made a mistake, and not showing mutual respect. And that's one of the things that we want to deal with. We also want to deal with someone that has definitely got something against us that is something that we have done, and it talks about making those things right with those persons rather than forcing them into legal action. So we have a number of issues here, but the one that of course bothers almost everyone that reads it is the story when Jesus moved from where he was around Capernaum up towards Tyre, and there was a Gentile woman. As a matter of fact, she was one that was from the Canaanite background, which if you read a lot in the Old Testament, you know that they were pretty much hated by the Jews. But nevertheless, she was begging Jesus to heal her daughter of demon possession. And Jesus tells her very bluntly that he was sent for the lost children of Israel. And he said that it would be bad to give what was intended for the children of Israel to the dogs. Well, we certainly struggle with that. How can he teach us to not treat somebody with contempt, or to call somebody a fool being a very bad thing, and then calling this Gentile woman a dog? And she quickly comes back with the fact that even the dogs get the crumbs that are dropped from the table, and that's all she's asking for is a crumb from the table, and very humbly still begging him and beseeching him to heal her daughter. And of course Jesus does. So the question becomes, why the phrase dogs? And was he talking about a household pet that's beloved, and some people would even reach under the table and deliberately give the dog some food? Did he say it with a little bit of a twinkle in his eye and a little bit of a laugh under his breath? We'll never know. He certainly never felt that anybody was worthless. He didn't want to treat those that didn't deserve anybody with contempt. And so we have what many people would say a very good probability for a misunderstanding here in the terms. I think it's important for us to remember that as we are dealing with people. Recently I saw in an internet posting a young man that, and he's not a young man, but a man who constantly posts provocative statements and anti-Christian statements, and I couldn't help to let it pass. And then I noticed that one of the ladies that was in my high school class said, I am not trying to offend you, and I don't want to debate with you, but I respectfully disagree with you. Now, I recognized that her emotion in response to him was far better than the one that I would have given him, and much more biblical, because she was saying, I don't consider you worthless. I don't consider you with contempt. I don't have anything but mutual respect for you, but I disagree with you. And she certainly handled the situation in a wonderful way, and I thought it was a great example, and very proud of her Christian position. So I hope that as you think about words, as you think about the funny cartoon about the turning right here and turning left right here, that you'll remember that it's easy to be misunderstood. We must be very careful with our words. We need to be sure that we don't have a lack of mutual respect for others, and we shouldn't jump to conclusions either that somebody has shown us disrespect or shown us something that is not what they intended at all. And so we need to be careful. And if we are in doubt, it says if we're offended, we should go to the person that offended us and try to get it straightened out. It's easy to be, especially when we're in a certain situation, to be offended, and it may not have been an attempt to offend at all. As a matter of fact, it may have been just the opposite. It may have been an attempt to help or to just make information available. So I hope that you'll think about that as you deal with other people, and we'll all treat each other with mutual respect, even if we disagree on certain things. It's always nice to have the kind of respect that the young lady that had with the man on the internet, and that is, I respectfully disagree with you, and to at least thank them for their input and not to take it to offense. And that's my thought for the day. God bless. Have a great day. Do you know how to get to heaven? It's clearly written out for us in the book of Romans. The book of Romans tells us that we're all sinners. We all fall short of the glory of God. We've all earned our wages. The wages of sin are death, and we've all earned our wages. But God loved us enough that he sent his Son to die for us. It tells us while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And it tells us that we'll confess with our mouth and believe in our hearts that God has raised him from the dead and that he is a perfect sacrifice for us. We will be saved. Now, being saved means turning away from sin and self and turning to Christ and Christ alone by faith for our salvation. Have you ever done that? Why don't you do it today? Watch this little clip about the 3 circles. It'll help you to understand God's perfect plan for your life. God bless you and have a great day.